Hello dear boys of class 10. Welcome to English second paper class. How are you all? I hope all of you are well. This is Simi Dango, lecturer in English, St. Gregory's High School and College. Dear boys, in yesterday's class, I discussed about the question pattern of your second round quiz. So the exam is going to be held in Google Form, and I provided a link of simple question. So if you want, then you can go through to that question which is made in Google form. You will get a very clear idea from that question. Dear boys, according to our quiz syllabus, we have two chapters in second round quiz: transformation of sentences and connectors. I have taken several classes on transformation of sentences and two classes on connectors. So you will find 20 questions from these topics. So you have to correct the right answer from out of 4 questions. So firstly you have to write down your name, your roll number and your sections. And if needed, then you have to write down your email address. So dear boys, it's very easy. The exam is going to be very easy and you will get relief after appearing in the exam. So dear boys, today we are going to discuss transformation of sentences. As a part of transformation of sentences, changing sentences from simple to complex. In our previous lectures, we have been discussing about simple, complex and compound sentence. I mean, in our last lecture, we discussed the definition of simple sentence, compound sentence and complex sentence. So dear boys, now let's move to our lesson. So here you have rule number 1. If there is an extra phrase in the simple sentence, expand that phrase to make a clause. Then choose a suitable connectors to connect the clauses. So what you need to do, if there is an extra phrase in the simple sentence, then you have to expand that phrase to make a clause. Then you have to choose a suitable connectors to connect the clauses. So here you have an example. Seeing the teacher, the students stopped making noise. Okay, so what are you are instructed to look up? So if there is an extra phrase in the simple sentence, expand that phrase to make a clause. So which one is extra phrase? Seeing the teacher. So here we are going to write down as the student saw the teacher. Okay, then we have to write down the next clause. They stopped making noise, and we have used a pronoun instead of writing the student. Okay, as the subject is same. As the student saw the teacher, they stopped making noise. And we all know that what is a clause. A clause is a type of sentence having subject and finite verb. So here the subject is the student, and here you can see saw the teacher. Okay, so the answer is as the students saw the teacher, they stopped making noise. Okay, and you can say since the students saw the teacher, they stopped making noise. Okay, and you can say another way, the students stopped making noises when they saw the teacher. So dear boys, you can change this simple sentence in 3 ways. All of these sentences are correct. So when we have two different subjects in our sentence, then how to change this type of sentence from simple to compound, complex. So you see, Alex could not go to school due to his mother's illness. So here we are going to write down Alex could not go to school because his mother was ill. Okay, when we have different subject, as we have Alex here as the subject and we have his mother, this is another subject. So we are going to write down Alex could not go to school because his mother was ill. Okay, or we can say Alex could not go to school since his mother was ill. Alex could not go to school since his mother was ill. So here comes rule number 2. If there is no extra phrase in the simple sentence, you have to find a word which you can expand into a clause. The word can be an adjective, noun, or adverb. Okay? So, if there is no extra phrase in the simple sentence, okay, in rule number 1, we have been doing uh, changing simple sentence having extra phrase. So now the rule is if there is no extra phrase in the simple sentence, you have to find a word which you can expand into a clause. The word can be an adjective, noun, or adverb. Okay, so say this is an example. He pleaded for his innocence. He pleaded for his innocence. This is a simple sentence without extra phrase. There is no extra phrase here. Now, how to change this sentence from simple to complex? You see, he pleaded that he was innocent. He pleaded that he was innocent, not innocence. This word will be innocent. Okay? He pleaded that he was innocent. Murphy knows Mr. Rashid. Murphy knows Mr. Rashid. Okay? So the answer is Murphy knows who Mr. Rashid is. Murphy knows who Mr. Rashid is. Okay? As Mr. Rashid is a person, that's why we have used the pronoun who here. I prayed for your job. I prayed so that you could get that job. He admitted his guilt. He admitted that he was guilty. Okay? For words that are adjectives, you have to make an adjective clause. If you have adjectives in your simple sentence, then you have to make an adjective clause to change the sentence from simple to complex. Okay, here you go an example. He was an outstanding actor. So outstanding is an adjective. So we are going to make a clause about this outstanding, this word outstanding. So we are going to write down, he was an actor who was outstanding. He was an actor who was outstanding. Look at this sentence. Look it up. Outstanding, this is an adjective. And we have to make a clause of this adjective. So we have written he was an actor, and after that who was outstanding. This is a phrase, who was outstanding. I lost the most beautiful pen yesterday. So this beautiful is an adjective here. So we are going to write down I lost the pen which was most beautiful. I lost the pen which was most beautiful. He was a remarkable man. So remarkable is an adjective. He was a man who was remarkable. He was a man who was remarkable. I want an extensive encyclopedia. Extensive encyclopedia. So extensive is an adjective. So we are going to say I want an encyclopedia which is extensive. I want an encyclopedia which is extensive. For words that are adverbs, you have to make an adverb clause. If you have adverbs in the simple sentence, then you have to make an adverb clause. Okay? So here you have an example. He is too weak to carry this heavy bag. He is too weak to carry this heavy bag. So heavy is an adverb here. So we are going to write down, he is so weak. For two, we are going to write down so, and here you see another two. Okay, he is so weak that he cannot carry that heavy bag. He is so weak that he cannot carry that heavy bag. Okay, he is working relentlessly to finish the work. He is working relentlessly to finish the work. So the answer will be, he is relentlessly working so that he can finish the work. He is relentlessly working so that he can finish the work. He was born in the year of Liberation War. Okay? He was born when it was the year of Liberation War. Okay. So here you see rule number 3. For some specific phrases, there are some specific rules. So here you see because of. If we have because of in our simple sentence, then we have to write down clause plus because or as or since and then another clause. Here you see it's an example. I could not do it because of my illness. So I could not do it because I was ill. Because I was ill. Here you see the first clause, I could not do it. This is clause number 1, and after that we have written because, or you can use here as or since. I could not do it as I was ill. I could not do it since I was ill. I could not do it because I was ill. Okay, you see, I could not do it as I was ill. I could not do it since I was ill. Very easy. So if we have at the time of in the simple sentence, okay, that means indication of time. If we have indication of time in simple sentence, then how to change this? Firstly, you have to write down when plus clause and then another clause. Then you have to write down when plus clause. You see? At the time of my birth, my father was abroad. So, when I was born, my father was abroad. Okay? When I was born, my father was abroad. When plus clause. Okay? Or clause plus when plus clause. Okay? When plus clause or clause plus when plus clause. You see, at the time of my birth, my father was abroad. When I was born, my father was abroad. Okay? Okay. So here you see, here we have in spite of or despite. If we have in spite of or despite in simple sentence, then we have to follow this structure. Though or although, and then clause, and then another clause. So, in spite of being a good student, he could not do well in the exam. So here is the answer. Although he is a good student, he could not do well in the exam. Firstly, we have written although, or you can write down though here, and then we have written a clause. Okay? So after that, we have written another clause. So the answer is, although he is a good student, he could not do well on the exam. So here is another example. Despite being sick, Robin went to school. Though Robin was sick, he went to school. So though and then first clause and then second clause. So if we have without plus verb plus ing in our simple sentence, then we have to follow these structures. If plus clause or clause plus unless plus clause. So here you have an example. Without playing well, we cannot win this match. Without playing well, we cannot win this match. So we can follow the first clause And then first structure we can follow the second structure also. If we do not play, we cannot win this match. The first structure, if plus clause and another clause. Or we can say we cannot win this match unless we play well. So here you have an example, another example. Without being there myself, I cannot do it. Without being there myself, I cannot do it. If I am not there myself, I cannot do it. Or I cannot do it unless I am there myself. So here you have to, which is an adjective, and after that to adjective and to. If you have this type of pattern in your simple sentence, then how to change the sentence from simple to complex? Firstly, you have to write down clause, and then you have to write down so, then adjective, that. After that, you have to write down the clause. Here you see, he is too weak to continue working. Say, he is so weak that he cannot work. They are too strong to lose. They are so strong that they cannot lose. So here you have a note connector, so that requires the modal can or could in the following clause. If you have so that, after that you have to write down can or could according to the verb. If the verb is present, then you have to write down can. If the sentence is written in past tense, then you have to use could. So dear boys, that's the end of today's lesson. If you find any problem while watching this class, feel free to ask me. Thanks to you all. Take care and take proper preparation for your exam.